I just thought of CD, and so it couldn't be any simpler, really. That's when I put the words "Free Nelson Mandela" to that tune. It's only a rehearsal. But that was a bit sort of too simple, so I added something a bit more difficult on the horns. I didn't know anything about Nelson Mandela. I'd never heard of him. His name had been suppressed in the media. But the anti-apartheid movement organised this concert, and that's where I learned about him. So I was just passing on the message from where I was, and luckily they played the record on the radio, and I'm always meeting people who said they'd never heard of him before they heard the record. I first got involved in anti-apartheid right back in the 60s when the South African rugby team toured here. I was only about 14 or 15 and went on a demonstration against the Springboks. That was in Coventry. This is the Fridge, which is where the very first Artists Against Apartheid gig was held. Dali Tambo, the son of Oliver Tambo, who was the exiled leader of the ANC, who lived in London, asked me to form an organisation called Artists Against Apartheid. We wanted to engage people politically, understand what Mandela stood for, you know, which was sanctions against apartheid. We ended up with the Academy, with the Smiths played here, and Madness and Gil Scott-Heron on the same bill, I think. So that was quite something. The concerts got bigger and bigger, and eventually it built up to a huge concert on Clapham Common. I think it was the biggest anti-apartheid demonstration there's ever been anywhere in the world, ever. We had Peter Gabriel, Sting, Elvis Costello, Boy George, Sade, Paul Weller, the Style Council. This particular concert, I organised it myself. I invited every one of those artists and organised the whole thing. No, we weren't celebrating anything at Clapham Common because apartheid was still going on, and the song, obviously, Free Nelson Mandela, still meant what it said, you know, Free Nelson Mandela, you know, like, free him. You know? When they saw this huge thing at Wembley Stadium, I think even Margaret Thatcher was thinking, oh, God, we can't go on saying Nelson Mandela's a bad guy anymore. He's getting too popular. So I think it did, you know, help coagulate the public opinion around the world.
What is this?
Wembley, yeah, Wembley. The Wembley thing was going for the biggest possible worldwide audience, you know. It's not something to celebrate. That was a war. It was still a war at that stage, and it was still ongoing. The ANC offices here got bombed. The ANC representative in Paris, someone walked in the office and shot her. I spent 4 years solidly working in an office, unpaid for 4 years solid up until the Wembley concert. So I was totally an activist then. I didn't even hardly play the piano for 4 years. I didn't get a chance, you know.
Zondagmiddag 4:15 plaatselijke tijd verlaat Nelson Mandela de Victor Verster-gevangenis als een vrij man.
Nelson Mandela had come out of prison and came out on stage. Then I could start breathing a sigh of relief, and there's something to celebrate. But even then, it wasn't over.
Reject any suggestion that the campaign to isolate the apartheid system should be wound down.
When he came out of the stadium at the second Wembley concert, I went down into the crowd just to experience it, and I think there was 8 minutes of solid applause and cheering for it. That was really an incredible moment in my life, you know. It was astounding. I guess I relaxed a bit after the second concert, yeah.
And did you finally meet Mr. Mandela?
Yeah, I met him twice. I was introduced and someone explained that I wrote the song and he said, "Ah, yes, very good." Yeah.